Hey guys, it's Aaron Heiser with Maker's Leather Supply, and today we're going to talk about a machine that baffles many, but I love this silly thing. That is the NP4 Skiver. So here it is. Here's my baby. I love her. I'm good to her. She's good to me. You know how it is. So, a lot of people have an issue with this machine just because if you don't know some basic rules about its setup and how to operate it, then you're not going to be very successful with it. Okay? This is our shop model, so it gets played with pretty often, even when I'm not the one playing with it. A lot of customers mess with it, and other employees and stuff like that. So there's just no telling sometimes where the settings might be on it. Okay? But we're going to talk about all the pieces of it, all the parts of it, what it does, and yeah. So you've seen me use this in videos. I'm not sure, again, what setting it's exactly on, but we're going to get the pedal going and show you what it does right quick. See that skive right there? Isn't that beautiful? Now you can do a nice rolled edge right there or whatever you need to do because it's skived. So, how did that happen, right? So let's just go over all the parts of this machine. All right, so here we are in the working part of it. This thing, this little screw I'm trying to turn back here, this is the edge guide. Okay, so how far from the edge of the leather you're trying to skive. All right, and I'm just going to pull that thing back and out of the way because right now we're looking at the whole machine and not just that. All right, now the part that you're seeing go up and down right now, that's your presser foot. Okay. Inside here, that rough looking granite looking ball right there, that is the little roller ball that feeds the leather to the blade. And then this bell shaped item here is the blade, thus the name Bell Skiver. It is shaped like a bell. So there's lots of little controls and settings and stuff like that around here, and we'll get to each and every one of them and talk about what they do as we set this machine up. We'll just pretend like it's the first time we ever used it. Okay, so the very first thing you want to look at is the ball in relation to the blade. Okay, you want that ball as close to the blade as you can get it without it touching. Okay, and then the other thing you want is the angle of the ball to be right with the angle of the blade. Okay, and I'll show you. I've got some adjustments here I can make. Right here, I'm making it to where the left side of the ball is going down, but the right side of the ball remains constant. You will not get a good skive like this. So if we adjust it to where it needs to be, again, that sucker's going to be just under touching the blade. And then go slow and make sure, because some balls are a little bit off balance. Maybe you don't want to have it to where you set it, and then when next thing you know, it swings around and hits the blade in another location. Okay, so that was done right here at this. Okay, this is a lock nut here. You twist that lock nut, and then as I turn this one way, that ball rotates a little bit, and as I turn it the other way, it goes back to where it needs to be. Again, all right, we are good. So now I'll put that nut right back. Okay, and that's the angle of the ball. Now, if we want to adjust the height of the ball, see where it goes down? It's all spring loaded. That's this bad boy right here. Same concept. I twist it one way, the ball moves up. I twist it the other way, the ball moves down. Undo the lock nut there. Okay, so once again, now that we have it at the correct angle with the other one, we want it at the correct height with this one. Okay, get my foot over there and run it. See where it just hit the blade? No bueno. Got to bring it down a little bit. Now I'll lock it into place. Now, that one has this little spring lever on it. Okay, so that is basically how hard that ball is being pressed up to the blade. Generally, the third little rung of that is about where I keep it most of the time. But if I'm doing something like a gator or something like that, I'll bring it up to the fourth one. Something that's going to have a lot of texture or tiles to it like alligator does. But for most things I do, I keep it on the little third one right there. Okay? Now, let's talk about this presser foot. just like the roller ball with the blade, the angle of the presser foot is extremely important. Okay, right here on the back of this device is your adjustment for the angle of your presser foot. You can press it down to where the front of it's down, or you can lean it way back where the back of it's down. Okay, now what does that do exactly? Oh, well, and we want to be really careful. I'm not sure who did it, but somebody in this shop actually took this one and leaned it way back and then adjusted it way far down to where the presser foot actually ground on the little ball. So that not only screws up your little roller ball, but it really screws up your presser foot. You have to go back and sand it smooth and polish it really, really well. If it's got any scratches or anything on it, it's going to scratch up your leather pretty good. Okay? So it's all about the kind of skive that you want. Okay? The skive I just showed you was kind of an even skive all the way across. Basically about 1/2 inch into the leather, it skived about half of the leather off. Okay? If I wanted it to, say, be a very tapered skive and just go until it's like a feathered edge, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt that sucker back pretty hard. Okay? Get my my edge guide up. Well, I don't want to do my edge guide yet, okay? But up here on the top, that's what adjusts the height of your presser foot. And I want to take it down till it's almost touching the ball there. There we go. Now, if I put my edge guide right there towards the back of that presser foot, about right there, now I'm going to have a feathered skive. Okay, so a skive that goes from just thick to thin. Just like that. Okay, so it gradually goes out to the very edge where it's almost paper thin. And that's how you achieve that. And that kind of skive is really good if you're doing a rolled edge on like a wallet pocket. Then when you fold that over, sorry, my camera hand and my brain aren't working together. When you fold that over, then it kind of maintains a consistent thickness all the way from the thickest part of the leather to the where you folded it over there. Okay? But a lot of the time, like I said, I will just do a full skive, and I will skive the entire piece all the way across. So I'm going to bring it back down, and basically I'll put it down until it touches the roller ball, and then I'll lift it up a little bit like that using my height adjustment. And now I know it is perfectly parallel with the roundness of the blade and the ball there. Okay, so there we go. Now this is my kind of skive. This is what I do on most of my bags and stuff like that, because I'm usually skiving seams. Now this is the NP4 Skiver, and there are people that will tell you that this NP4 will not skive vegetable tanned leather, and I just proved them wrong. So I do understand the manufacturer of this machine does not recommend it for skiving veg tan. But I will tell you this, I skive all the way up to like 8 ounce very consistently and very constantly on this machine with no issues whatsoever. Okay, so let that be your guide. We're gonna run one more little pass through here right quick. Look how nice that is. I mean, I took that sucker down to paper. Okay, and that would make a beautiful rolled edge on a wallet or something like that. Okay, now let's talk about sharpening right quick. Okay, what I love about this machine is it has its own sharpening stone. That's it, right in there, that orange looking thing. Okay, so when I press the pedal right now, that stone, or that sharpening stone, doesn't move. But if I reach over here to this and pull it down, that engages the stone, and now it moves. Okay, now I've got 2 adjustments here. This one right here, the one closest to me, moves that stone towards the blade. The other one moves the blade as you use this machine, and I mean over years of usage, you'll use up this blade, you know, and you'll eat it up as you grind it down, stuff like that. So it constantly needs to, or not constantly, I mean I've had one in my office for 2 years and I haven't moved the blade yet. but it needs to move towards the rollerball once in a while with heavy usage. Okay, so say all that to say this. When I'm sharpening, I want to take a Sharpie marker. Now, what I'm about to say is going to 100% contradict some things I've been told about the NP4 Skiver. I have been told before, and it works, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're wrong, I'm saying it's not the way I do it anymore. But I've been told you sit there and you put black marker all over this blade here as you spin it, and then you skive it, or you sharpen it until it has no more sparks. Then you advance it some and you sharpen it until it has no more sparks. Then you advance it some and sharpen it until it has no more sparks. I used to do that, and it does. It works great, and it sharpens the blade great. Don't get me wrong about that. But what I also was taught is it kind of anneals the blade, and it gets the blade really hot, and then the blade doesn't stay as sharp as long because it has been annealed. And I kind of, the science part of me wants to listen to that. So the person that told me that was like, no, I get it going, and I get my sharpener to move over to it. Hang on a second, let me make sure I'm going the right way here. And once it makes contact, you'll know there's going to be some sparks. Okay, all that noise is that wheel making contact with that blade. Now I'm going to back it off, and look, all that marker's gone. So that sucker has been sharpened. Okay, that entire surface of that blade has been ground down. Then just a little bit more. I do see some black on the blade still. All right, now I'm going to back the sharpening stone away from it. Re-engage that lever that disengages the sharpening stone. The other thing I want to do is, this is like a little sharpening stone too. Now once we've done that, we've created burrs on the inside of this blade. So I just want to run it for a half a second with this in the inside of the blade to get rid of those. And what I do is I put the very tip of it down flat on the blade, and then I lean it out until it touches the edge, and that's it, while it's running, of course. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to lean it out, and there we go. Now, you won't really notice a big performance difference because, well, it was already sharp. So, here we go, though. Nice and beautiful skive, and there we are. So, the only other thing we'll talk about is when you're skiving something, this is your presser foot release up here. It lifts your presser foot up. Okay, and why I'm saying that is, let's say I have done this piece of leather. You notice the left side and the right side and even the bottom are already skived because this is a test piece for me. If I want to skive that very last side, I have to be careful. Okay, so what I do is I stick my presser foot up. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera and do this. Thought this would be a one-handed video. Pull my presser foot up, I put that skived area on top of the blade, then press my presser foot down. And what that does is it ensures that the roller ball doesn't pull your leather up under your blade. Okay? So that's about it. That's about all the wisdom I know about an NP4 Skiver. It's an amazing machine. Especially if you make bags and things like that, this is definitely a machine to have. If I only had one machine that plugged in my shop, I would have this before I had a sewing machine. I can hand sew like nobody's business, but I can't hand skive worth a dang. So that's why I love this machine. It is the NP4 Skiver from Leather Machine Company. We have them here at Maker's Leather Supply, but Leather Machine Company has other distributors too. But if you liked my video, maybe you'll get it from me. All that being said, it has a lifetime warranty, just like all other Leather Machine Company products. So it's a no-risk buy. Oh, one more thing. when you buy it, when you're setting it up for the very first time, that blade, if you look down this side of the presser foot at the cutting edge of the blade, it should be about a 0.5 millimeter away from the presser foot, if not less, okay? A very, very small gap in there. Sometimes when you get a new one, if it's not performing well, that is also the problem. Besides the pitch of the roller ball and the height of the roller ball, the blade distance from your presser foot is extremely important, okay? So, all that being said, I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply, and this has been a video. I was about to say 2-minute tool tip, but we're at almost 16 minutes. Anyway, this has been a great video, I hope, for you on the NP4 Skiver. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. Have a great day.